when we're so stuck in seeking that next thing, it's like you're going to miss your whole life if you're constantly in that seat. What's next? I'm not where I'm supposed to be. What's next? It's like you're missing everything. You're missing the small joys, the small beauty. Welcome to the Multiple Truths podcast. We're your hosts, Holly
and Brittany. This is a space where we can come together healing in community, where we share our self-love journeys, insights, and wisdom.
A space with no hierarchy or judgment, fostering love, compassion, and respect, and where we honor our differences. With open minds and hearts, everyone's truth is welcome here. We are in this together. Let's dive into the episode.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Multiple Truths podcast. You're here with both of us again today.
Hello, we are together.
Yeah, we're a little sleepy.
Yeah, I got a coffee.
I got a
Brittany
little
got a
matcha with those tapioca balls.
Yeah,
They're
hoping
good.
This revives our spirits a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like this episode will, getting into conversation.
Yeah, I got to Vancouver yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Brittany's already been running low on sleep, and then I don't sleep well in other people's places. I slept last night, but I definitely I just don't get as good as sleep when I am either at a hotel, Airbnb, but outside of my own room.
I'm the same. Yeah.
But we're here and we're going to revive our spirits.
Yeah. And we have it's an important topic today. Yeah. An important topic. But before we dive into it, get your tea, get your coffee, get your wine, water, whatever your drink of choice is. Get cozy, get comfy, or maybe you're listening to us in the car. Also, now that we're starting this out, we always forget to say this, but we would really appreciate it if you would rate the show, comment, share. It just really does help support us. It helps get this podcast out there,
Yeah, it's a small way to support us. If you are resonating with the things that we talk about and all of that, we would just love to hear from you guys too. And if you're looking for a way to support us, that's an easy, quick way to support us. So
a little 5-star wink wink rating, or whatever
if you feel called.
If you feel called, no pressure, but we always forget to mention it. And anyways, but the topic today, so there's a few different things. I feel like a lot of you who listen, you're on some sort of journey, a healing journey, self-love journey, spiritual journey, whatever it is that you want to label it. And I feel like sometimes being on this journey, I know through personal experience, which I'll talk a little bit about, it's really easy to, I want to say bypass, when you start to wake up and gain a lot of this spiritual knowledge and whatnot, it can be really easy to subconsciously bypass some healing in a way and try to jump into your mission, your purpose, helping other people before you fully help yourself. And I know we've touched on this before, but we actually pulled some cards before.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes, because we were I wonder what we should talk about, whatever wants to come through, because normally we have different ideas, but we were a little tired, so we're okay, what wants to come through? And we pulled some cards, and the energy around it
was very much so.
Talk about.
The first card that came out was seek healing, embrace uncertainty, patience, higher power, and there was one more, and I forget. It was an oracle deck. I forget what the last one was. Clear your energy. So, and what I got from that, I was whoa, because I feel a lot of you guys are healers. A lot of the people listening are healers. A lot of you might feel you have a higher calling, even if you don't know what that is yet. Some of you might know what it is already.
And also just here to make positive change in the world. Here to be a trailblazer, do things differently, question things, start going your own path, start questioning your path, doing things for yourself, starting to make positive change in the society that we live in too. I think I just feel change makers, supposed to be questioning things and doing things in a different way.
Yes. Yeah. So if you listen to this, you probably looking at my feet. Some feet action for you guys. Sorry. If you're listening,
moving a lot,
if you're listening, you're what are you talking about? But we're sitting on my couch, and I'm just we're in the frame, and our feet are in the frame. So, anyways,
I'm can you? I keep trying to check if if my shorts are covering my butt.
Oh, I think you're, I think you're.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to show anything.
Anyways, what was I saying? My feet distracted me.
Yeah.
My feet distracted me. But anyways, kind of going back to what I was saying, it's like I keep moving my feet now and it's all I'm focusing on. Maybe we needed to bring some laughs to this because this is more of like a serious conversation.
You also, like, we're talking about serious topics, but it should be fun. You know, we want to make this fun. We want to make this light. It's not, it doesn't have to be so serious, but like
heavy.
we are talking about some serious things and shedding light on things, but also like we get to make it fun. We get to make it fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it should be fun, right? Because this kind of ties into our topic a little bit too. It's like life is meant to be enjoyed.
Yeah. Like we're here to like experience all, it's not all supposed to be serious and service based. And like we're here
purpose.
to, purpose. Like what is my purpose? I'm here to serve. I'm here to help others. Like
for a higher calling.
We're also here to like be human and to experience love and joy and connection and play and friendship and family and all of it. Like we're not just here to work all of the time, and like it's really easy when you feel like you have like you're here to help, you're here for a bigger purpose. It's really easy to fall into like, okay, what is it that I need to do, and like constantly trying to like work on yourself and help other people. But it's like you're here to live your life for you too, and it's supposed to be fun. And I think we can get really caught up in like being a martyr, like thinking that like we're here to help other people, and like we're not here to be martyrs. You're not here to be anyone's savior. You know, even the term healer, like, yes, I believe there were, we're healers. There's healers out there, but it's like we and you can't heal anyone. People heal themselves. You can be a mirror. You can hold up a mirror for people to help them along their path to heal and be that light for them. But ultimately, people have got to do it for themselves. And I think it's like on the path of feeling like, oh, I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. I'm here to help other people, thinking like you got to go help everybody, but it's like, no, you can't. People have to help themselves. Again, like we've got to bring that balance back in.
Yeah, like something that, for example, me just giving personal experience, when I really started like awakening to my purpose. Now, when I say purpose, like I like to use it loosely because, we're here for multiple reasons, more than one purpose. Like, and one purpose is to experience joy and love and all of the things. But, my mission, so to speak, my quote unquote purpose, like what my calling, what I feel called to do, when I really started to awaken to that, because there was a period in time where I had no idea what that was. And I felt, and you listening, you might be on different parts of your journey. Okay. Doesn't matter. Cause there was a part in my journey where I felt called to something more, but I didn't yet know what that was. And then when I started stepping into what that was, which is still uncertain, like it's changing, it shifts, it evolves as I change, shift, evolve, and grow. And when I first started stepping into it though, I really felt like I had to, like the world needed this. It's something the world needed. I'm here for this bigger reason, quote unquote, a higher purpose, a higher calling. And I think that tips into ego a little bit, right? Like, and I felt like I need to do this now because the world needs this. And it's like, okay, Brittany, you're a piece of the puzzle.
But it's also what I want to touch on with that is the savior complex. And also if you're on the spiritual path, which is just, connecting to your higher self, seeing that you're, your spiritual connection. I think if people, that's where the Jesus complex comes in. You see a lot of cult leaders, complex. The God complex. You see a lot of cult leaders like claiming that they are these. Yes. And it's like, it can go when it's unchecked and you're awakening and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm here for this bigger power. I have to be doing this. It becomes very like self-serving. Like people need me. Like I have to do this or else things aren't going to be okay,
Which is why with the cards that came out, it's so important it's exciting, right? When you start to tap into what that higher calling is, it's exciting and there is importance to it. And I don't want to take away from that because I remember when I first started stepping into it felt very important.
It's
and
beautiful.
It felt very important.
Yes.
So I don't want to take away from that because it is important. With that said, it's like grounding it, bringing back down to earth. I was going to say something else and I'm losing my train of thought, but going back to what I was saying, it is important. So, not wanting to take away from that, but okay, this is what I was going to say. It's like yes, you could start tapping into what that higher calling is, but first of all, it doesn't mean it's meant to manifest right away. There's no rush. What's important first is your healing. The first card that came out, seek healing, clear your energy, is your healing, because if you, let's say, bring this to light before you have fully looked at and integrated your shadow, you can actually perpetuate a lot more harm than good.
Mm-hmm.
Cult leaders, for example,
coming from like a wounded place. And I think too, like, if you are at that point of awakening and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm here for a bigger purpose, like, that's beautiful, and like celebrate that. But also I feel like we're here to also, like, we're at a part of our own past realizing like we are all in this together, and it's community that's going to save the world. It is us realizing that we all need one another. It's not one person that's going to come and change everything. It's all of us working together, our own beautiful, unique gifts. And like, so many of us are awakening and becoming enlightened. And it's all comes back to unconditional love, acceptance for all, non-judgment for all. And like, we're all a piece of that puzzle, and help. And first, it all comes back to learning how to love yourself, because when you love yourself, you can love others, and helping others learn how to love themselves and feel their shame and their pain and all of that kind of stuff. And I just, like, we're all a piece of this beautiful puzzle in our own unique ways. And it may even be, you're not even meant to be, you know, maybe it's just through your family, through your friends, like whatever it may be. It's not like a grandiose kind of like thing, you know. It's like, it could just simply be having that huge ripple on your family,
and that's just as important. That's just as important. And I want to make that very clear, like, and just an example, and again, just speaking of personal experience here, because it's what I have to go on. And I know it's similar for you. When I really started awakening and discovering my purpose, I felt like I wasn't meant to have kids, because I thought that my kids would get in the way of my quote unquote mission. And during a journey one time, Spirit like had me down. I was getting visuals of like a warrior in a warrior. I was in battle gear, and they were like, armor down, soldier, aka ego down. One of your purposes is to bring through more souls, because you are a piece of the puzzle. You are not the only puzzle. You are a piece of the puzzle, and there are many more souls awaiting to come through who are integral pieces of the puzzle as well. And to bring those souls through is huge. So maybe for you, for example, let's say your main purpose, let's say, is to bring souls through. That's beautiful. It's not any less important. It's extremely, it's very
being a mom the most and a father, like, those are the two of the most important jobs. Like, you're here shaping the children, which the children are going to be the change makers, you know. Especially, we're realizing how much we need to learn how to love ourselves and have these hard conversations. Like, it's the most important job to be a parent. To those are quite literally the next generations that are coming in to shape this earth, you know. So I feel like being a parent is such an important piece of the puzzle, if you feel called. You know, some people are unable to get pregnant too, so wanting to be very cognizant of that. But I feel like being a parent is a part of it, and also that's a part of the beauty of, like, we're here to experience a beautiful family, you know, like, that's, we don't have to, you don't have to sacrifice that, because I at one point felt like maybe Eric and I aren't meant to have kids, because I do feel like, you know, I am meant to be out in community and help and be in the trenches and help people. The mental health crisis, I feel so lit up about that. But it's like, no, I get to have both. You can have both. You can have a family, you can have, and you can have a thriving career. You don't have to self-sacrifice for either. It's like, we're not here to be martyrs.
We're not here to be martyrs. And I think a piece of that too is embracing the uncertainty and patience, because you might step into your purpose, or begin to step into your purpose, and have this vision of where you're going. For whatever reason, I mean, this is human and this is ego, we feel like we need to do it right now.
That's
it's like
ego.
That's
ego. Instant kind of,
it's like
thing, instant gratification, feeling like you get the message, and it's like, I need to do this.
I need to do this now. It's like, well, maybe this is not actually meant to manifest for another 20 years from now, which is fine. In the meantime, follow that path. Enjoy life in the interim.
Yeah, it's like the heart-led living episode that we did. It's like, follow your heart. It's going to take you all in this crazy wild space. It's not going to look like anyone else's, but it's going to lead you
to where you're meant to go.
But it may manifest way later down the road.
And it's embracing the uncertainty in the interim. You know, the Knight of Wands in tarot I keep seeing in my mind's eye, which is a very fast moving card. It's quick, it's impulsive. And with that, sometimes when we act on something too quickly, we end up needing to backtrack. And also it's like when you race through things, you're going to miss the view. You know what I'm saying? It's like life is we're meant to enjoy as well, you know, and we're meant to experience love and all of the things. Going back to what you said, we're not meant to be a martyr. We're a piece of the puzzle, and a part of helping this earth is to tap into that beautiful energy of joy, because that raises the frequency as well,
and authenticity too. I think so much a piece of this also is like learning how to love yourself. It starts with you first. And I think, like you had mentioned, like we go to other people first, like, oh, I need to help other people first, but it starts with you learning how to love yourself so you can show up authentically, because authenticity is such a beautiful energy that we need more of here, and inspire others to be more authentic to who they are, so we can have a more real world without the masks, without the we are in a mental health crisis. It's because of these masks that we've placed on to try and like fit in with one another, and just like so disconnected from self. So it's like you've got to start with you, and knowing that that's enough. That's a big piece of it. Learning how to love yourself is a huge piece of what I feel like so many of us are here to do.
It's a huge piece, especially now. It's like we're relearning how to love ourselves,
because we weren't taught. No one was taught.
Which is, and it's a journey, right? Which is to because we weren't taught. It's a journey. And how important is that, you know, if you have your own kids, or if you adopt, or whatever it may be, your nieces, nephews, just the children that are to come, if you've learned that, it's that job for them is not going to be nearly as complex, because we're going to be leading by example and teaching them how to genuinely love themselves. Therefore, you know, whatever they came here to do, they're not going to have to move through the complexity of relearning how to love themselves, because, you know, we're going to teach them that. So it's like that. Learning how to love yourself is, I want to say, the most important. And then it's like when you get to a place, you know, of course that's when you go out and feet on the ground. But I feel like, you know, going back to what we were saying, just like healers and stuff like that, a lot of people are so much more wounded than they're aware of. It's like feeling like, I'm here to help people, like I wish I could help more people, I wish I can help more people. And
it starts with you.
It really starts with you.
Yeah, because if you are at that place in your life, because I remember that's when I went to the medium that I've talked about a lot. I was in this place where it's like, this cannot be it. Like, I feel like I'm here to do something else. I'm not happy with where I'm at. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, but there's got to be more than this. I was feeling that in my soul. Like, I'm here for something. There's got to be something. And so that's when I went to the medium, and he said, you need to learn how to love yourself. And when you learn how to love yourself, everything will fall into place for you. And so that's the journey of learning how to love myself. And then as I was on that path, it's like things opened up of what it is that I was supposed to be doing to help other people, you know, but I had to help myself first. And it's a forever journey. I'm still learning how to love myself, but I'm very much like on the same team as myself, and I'm so proud of where I am, and I love all these younger parts of me, and I'm very much like the mama bear to myself, but also like connected with my soul, I feel, in a different way than I ever have been. And it's because I took time to take care of myself. I took time to figure out who I am and like really learn how to love all parts of me, especially my shadow, especially the parts that I am not proud of. And I still, judgment, jealousy, comparison, negative self-talk, all of it still comes, of course, but you get the tools to navigate that, to come back to baseline and have compassion for yourself. And I just feel like once you really learn how to get on the same team as yourself, like that is when the path, you like illuminate the path forward on, because you are, if you're feeling that you're here for a purpose, you are here for a purpose. And it will illuminate the more you connect with yourself, the more you take care of yourself and figure out what it is that you feel like you're here to do, you know?
Yeah. And another thing that's coming to mind too is, you know, some of you might already kind of have stepped into your purpose in the sense of like, maybe you know what it is, you're working on it already, or you know whatever it may be. But sometimes it's like maybe that success that you think you're supposed to have hasn't hit yet. And I know that, you know, something that I had to learn personally, it's like the success didn't come to me until I really learned balance. And I really learned how to put myself first, because the universe, if you all of a sudden become really successful with whatever it may be, but you have not yet learned balance and you have not yet learned how to put yourself first, you're not going to be able to hold that success. It's going to eventually come crumbling down, whether that be because of burnout or a crack in the foundation that you missed. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I want to give an example about that too, because I think so often like external validation is huge, like needing to learn how to validate yourself. Yeah. So just an example for me, like obviously I knew I was on the path, became a holistic health coach, started my Instagram account. My Instagram account started to really grow. I started to gain a following. I was at like 42,000 followers on Instagram. And all of a sudden, my account got hacked and it was all gone. It was all gone. And it's really hard to get your account back once it's hacked. And I always know, okay, what is this trying to teach me? Because I got to that place already of, okay, I know not like things can be a coincidence, but nothing's quite a coincidence. So like, what is this trying to teach me? And I had just gotten back from a women's retreat where I had realized, oh my gosh, I just get to be me. Like I'm enough. And when I create that safety and stability from within me, like I don't need any, like I just get to be me, and whatever anyone thinks of me, that's okay. Like I can't shift who I am based off of what other people think of me. Like really starting to find my validation from within. And that, I feel like losing my Instagram account was another thing. Like, are you still going to know who you are outside of your career, outside of the amount of followers that you have, the amount of engagement that you have? Like, do you still know who Holly is without all of that? And I got to the place of like, I was at peace with, if I don't get the back, that's okay. I'm good regardless. I'll start something new. The right people will come. I was really at peace with it because I let go of that need to hold on because like, oh, look at like the like the external validation. And as soon as I let it go and I gave it up to the universe, I got it back. And it was really like, it's really hard to get back an account once it's hacked. And I was like, okay, lesson learned, but still, I still integrate that. I cannot place my self-worth on anything online about my job. I know who I am outside of it and inside my job. That's not who it's an extension of me, but it doesn't make up who I am. And I think so many of us get lost in our purpose and making it our career and get lost in that. But it's like, we're here to find that balance, and we don't have to sacrifice anything. And like really knowing who you are out when everything's gone, everything's gone, do you still love who you are?
Yeah. It's like finding that sense of security from within you. It's not needing those outside sources. And, something else that was coming to mind too, if you really feel inspired to post or whatever it may be, on the flip side of it, let's say you don't have all of these followers and you don't have all of these likes, it's not getting discouraged if your content or your creations doesn't do as, well as you're hoping. Trust the timing of it, trust the timing, trust the flow. You're doing it for you first anyways.
Right. Honestly, that's what I'm moving through. Yeah. Because my content used to be recipes. Like I've already told Brittany this, but I'm obviously sharing. Yeah. Like my content always used to be recipes, and it would get a lot of engagement, a lot of likes, a lot of comments, like a lot of views. And now I feel a deep shift in where I'm meant to go. Food is always going to be a part of it because, we need balance with food. We want to nourish these beautiful bodies, but we don't want to be obsessive, no restriction, finding that right balance. But my content has definitely shifted to more healing, self-love, learning how to love yourself, and just like different pieces, different things that I'm learning along my path. And my engagement is definitely lower. My account still, like I have 74, like I still have a decent amount of people following me. Not that I care about that, but it's like my engagement is pretty low, but I still do it because I would be talking about this regardless. I would be putting this stuff out regardless. And I am getting to this place of like, if people like it, if they don't like it, I'm not going to sway who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's like learning how to find that really safety, stability, security from within. So you can just be you in every situation. The right people will see you in the right time. I know the people that are seeing it, that's enough. If there's 3 people, whatever, they needed to see it maybe,
it's like, and don't underestimate the ripple.
Right.
Don't underestimate the ripple effect, you know? Yeah, because it's so easy to just like get tied up in all of that stuff today, like the outside things, the views, the likes, or on the flip side, getting discouraged if it's not doing as good. It's like going back to the embrace the uncertainty.
Right.
It's doing these things from a place of passion. It's doing these things from a place of love.
From a place of service too.
From a place of service. It's like,
it's not about
not self-serving.
Yeah. It's not about that external bullshit, honestly. It's not about that. And that's where I feel like when you really step into the heart space, it's like, how am I meant to serve today? And regardless if people engage, if people don't, like, even if it's speaking to a stranger, like, it's like, how can I serve, and knowing that whoever it reaches, whatever it does, that's enough, you know? And when you're in the heart space, it'll reach the right people, no matter how many.
Exactly.
You know?
Like if it's coming from the heart space and, you know, whatever it may be, it's like out of your hands, this will find who it's meant to. And like you said, that's more than good enough. You know, that's being of service. That's beautiful. As soon as you get trapped into the, you know, oh, why didn't it do so well? Or it's like, okay, where is that coming from? You know, that's
another little lesson of self-validation. That's been learning how to validate yourself is huge, because we live in a world filled with external validation, and it is never going to be enough until you can validate yourself. Until you learn how to see yourself and validate yourself. Like, it'll never be enough.
Yeah. And, you know, on the flip side, you know, talking about this stuff with social media and stuff too, let's say you were really successful with something, you know, you found success with something, kind of like, because I know I've been through this with my social platforms, like with dowsing rods and stuff. And I know you've been through this with the food, right? It's like, it's also hard to, let's say you find a lot of success with something, but as you shift and grow, a lot of people get stuck in the trap of feeling like they need to stay in that old niche or that like old version, as opposed to, you know, because they're afraid of like losing the followers or the engagement going down. Like I've been through that myself, like on my channel, in the sense of like, you know, I've shifted as I've shifted, and you know, your views and engagement, all of that shifts in the interim, but it's not about that anyways. So if you're listening and you're, let's say, really successful with something, but you're feeling stuck because you've shifted as a person, it's like, you don't need to stay there.
Just pigeonhole yourself.
Don't pigeonhole.
That's only going to keep you stuck.
Exactly.
You're not here to, you're here to expand and grow and show people that it's safe to shift and change too.
It's beautiful. That's a part of life, right?
We are not supposed to stay the same.
No,
we're not supposed to stay the same.
We're not supposed to stay the same. And I still get people that, you know, comment on my stuff sometimes. They're like, why don't you do this anymore? Or you haven't done this in a while, or da-da-da. And I'm like, no offense, but like my social media is not for anybody else other than me. Like I know it impacts people in a beautiful way, and that's fucking awesome, and I'm grateful for that. But I do what I love to do at the end of the day. So it's like and it's hard because people feel like, again, going back to like the wounds, they need to, it's like I'm doing this for people, and that kind of like, again, ego, like the savior complex, like going back into like that whole thing. It's tough. It's not black and white, and there's so many different ways to like, you know, get stuck in these things.
I just feel like, if you are in this place of just going back to like, if you are in this place of feeling like you're here for a higher purpose and like a bigger purpose, like trust that you're feeling that for a reason. But the more that you can like focus on yourself, fill your cup up, and find that balance in your life too. Cause like, again, we're not here to suffer. We're not here to be saviors. We're not here to be martyrs. You're here to live your life for you while also having that positive ripple in the world. But it starts with you. When you learn how to love yourself, that energy will emit from you, and you will inspire other people to love them, to like want what you have. How did you get that? Oh, I like learned how to love myself. You know, it's like that ripple is so needed in this world. And like grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, like, whoa, that is probably a part of your purpose right now, helping these grandbabies. You know, we touched on that, but like
seasons.
It's seasons of life. And like, I just feel like yeah, we all have so many different purposes, and like you have such an impact just by you being you with the people.
By shining your light authentically, stepping into your authenticity is medicine. This episode is brought to you by the Beehive. Holly and I created this online space with such deep intention because we know how lonely and isolating the healing journey can be. And what we've truly come to know is the importance of a safe community that understands you. We've both experienced the power of being witnessed, held, and supported, and that's where true healing happens. The Beehive is a grounded, heart-led space rooted in connection, reflection, growth, authenticity, and self-love. It's a community built on grounded spirituality, not bypassing, but coming home to yourself through your body, your truth, and your lived experience. While we honor the magic of the mystical, we also know the importance of staying rooted. Inside, you'll find real tools, embodiment practices, and a community of like-minded people who get it. It's a safe space where all are welcome, where your wisdom, your struggles, and your growth are honored. If you've been craving a down-to-earth space to heal, grow, and feel supported, we'd love to welcome you into the Hive. Only $22 USD a month. Link in the show notes to join. We hope to see you there.
And something else I want to say is like, if you don't know what your purpose is and you're listening to this and you're like, I have no idea. I invite you to look at like what you've been called to in the past. Like if you've been called to a specific career path, there may be something within that. Like I know my mom was a nurse. My sister's a nurse. It's like that you have your own impact in your own unique way and that sort of thing. And like that caretaking role can, that's giving you a skill set that will help you even later down the road. And I had an old client who was a lawyer and she feels very called for like equality and like fighting for people, but that might come, she's not in that right now. That might come way later down the road. Like if you're in the law or in the medical system, whatever it may be, it's like we need people within those fighting for change
to be the light as well.
Yes, to fight for equality. Like your skill set, whatever it may be, if you're older, it's like you still have a huge impact that you can make. And I think it's like finding what lights you up if you're wanting that, even just volunteering your time, all of that.
And it's like, even if let's say you're in something right now and you're like, I feel like I'm, meant to be doing something else. Like I'm going to use my personal experience again as an example. Like I was a high school teacher for 5 years. I was a teacher before that. I started teaching at the age of 12. I was a Taekwondo instructor. I was teaching, we talked about this yesterday. I was teaching adults at the age of 12, which is crazy. Like thinking back to it, I've always kind of been in a position of like the oldest child of 4 kids, teaching at the age of 12. I became a teacher. And I thought I was going to be teaching for forever. And then, I felt called to something more. I didn't know what it was. And eventually I know now I'm like, I am a teacher. Like I am a teacher in a way, not that, you know what I'm saying? But it's like everything that I did up until now, there was purpose to it. It was to help me become the teacher that I'm still becoming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And even another, for example, for me too, it's like, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I realized looking back, like look back at the careers and the jobs that you've had, because when I look back, it's like, oh, I was working at a college, getting alumni together, alumni events, member engagement, helping the alumni get together and like find their community. And then I was working for an engineering trade association. I was doing event planning for the engineers to get together in community to network. So it's like, I know that I'm like community, getting people together.
And I'm reflecting on now, I was a server. For 8 years, I was a server serving.
I served Grader's ice cream. Giving us these skills. Yes. Yeah, I think it's just so important and like beautiful to look back even at like I was definitely not in the careers that I wanted to be, but I see the beauty in those tools that they were giving me now to step more into, event planning and bringing people together. It's all about community, bringing people together and learning that we're not so different and how can we engage with one another and support one another. So, and that's a part of, I feel like, a piece of my purpose is to bring people together and the importance of community and like loving one another, understanding one another, everyone, diversity, coming together. And I just think, it's so beautiful to look at your career path and see what little tidbits are trying to guide you on your path to potentially like a piece of your purpose or whatever it is that your soul came here to do.
Yeah. And, you know, tying into that too, I want to say, like, I know a lot of people like look at me, for example, and they think I have it all figured out. You know, they think, Brittany, you found your purpose. You're already in it. And it's kind of like, well, yes and no. I don't know what the future holds. Like, I have no clue. You know what I'm saying? I have an idea, but I have no clue. It's very much has been kind of like a one step at a time, and
following
it's embracing the uncertainty. It's like one step at a time, and it's knowing that it'll shift as I continue to walk the path. It'll become more clear as I continue to walk the path. And it's shifted so much. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's shifted so much, and it's kind of like, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm in a place of uncertainty right now. Like, I'm still doing one-on-one readings, but I know in my soul that I'm not meant to be, not that I'm not meant to be doing them anymore, but I know I'm being called away from that. And I feel that so deeply. And I know that I don't necessarily know what that's going to manifest into yet, though. I don't know what I'm going to be, because as a Canadian creator, I don't make money. And I know I've talked about this before. As a Canadian creator, we don't have the creator fund, so I don't make money on my TikTok or my Instagram. A lot of people just assume that I make money on those platforms, which I don't. So my income primarily comes from my one-on-one readings. I'm making a little bit on YouTube now, but primarily one-on-one readings. And just, you know, talking about the YouTube, I got a message, a download from Spirit years ago that YouTube was going to be a source of income for me. And I was so confused, because for literally years of posting, like a few years of posting consistently, I did not make any money off of YouTube. And then I finally started making money, and it was like $100 to $200, like $200 a month. That's it, which is not nearly a livable wage. And I'm kind of like, what the hell? Like, why did I get this message from Spirit? But like, it's been a few years of me posting consistently now, 500 views a video, you know, which was not enough to like, nearly enough to like make, you know, barely a following. I've grown a little bit since then, but it's kind of like, it wasn't meant to manifest right away. And only here now, years later, is it starting. It's not there yet. I'm still not nearly enough to supplement my one-on-one readings or anything like that. But it's starting to shift. And I do feel like I, you know, it's not like my intuition was off or anything like that. Like, I did receive that message. But going back to what I was saying before, it was like Spirit was planting that in my mind, because they're like, we want you to work on this, to build, but in the interim, embrace that uncertainty, because there was so much work that I needed to do within myself. Oh God, I don't know, like, I'm glad that I didn't like build a big following back then. You know what I'm saying? Like on my YouTube. But going back to what I was saying, I know that I'm in between right now. I know I'm not meant to be doing the one-on-one readings anymore, but I'm just kind of like, okay, I know that's shifting, but I don't know what that shift's going to look like. But I know I'm in the in-between right now. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep following that inspiration. I'm going to keep answering the call, and we'll see where that leads me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy the interim. I'm going to enjoy life, and I'm not going to stress about needing to figure it out. Like, I need to figure it out right now. I know I'm not supposed to be doing this anymore. What's the other answer? That's not for me to figure out. The shifts are happening. In the meantime, I'm enjoying my life.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like when we're so stuck in seeking that next thing, it's like you're going to miss your whole life if you're constantly in that what's next, what's next? I'm not where I'm supposed to be. What's next? It's like you're missing everything. You're missing the small joys, the small beauty, because I very much feel the in-between as well. Like, I know I'm shifting and changing. Eric and I just got into our new place not too long ago. Like, I know I'm very much in an in-between too with what I feel called to do, my career, building a family, whatever it is. But it's like trusting that it will unfold, enjoying where I am right now, enjoying where you are right now, trusting that we'll know what the next step is. It will reveal itself, even if it's uncertain. And a visual that keeps coming in is one that, like, because, you know, this whole path is like so uncertain, like following your heart is so uncertain.
Yeah.
But it's like literally following, it's like walking in the fog when it's super foggy. It's like you can see the path like a few steps ahead, but you keep following it. And when the fog clears, it's like, oh, it's so much more beautiful than you could ever imagine. And I think it's just following in that fog,
It's like
and
keep
just
shining your light, so that you could see the little footsteps ahead of you as you continue to go, and just
embracing where you are, embracing the uncertainty. Like the ego wants to know what's next. The ego loves to be in control, loves to know what's next. But guess what? We don't get to, and that's part of this beautiful journey, is learning how to surrender and trust God, spirit, universe, source, our guardian angels, our spirit guides. Like, it's quite literally strengthening our faith, your faith. And I think that's where it's, building that inner strength and resilience from within, and trusting the unfolding in your life, even when it's super uncertain. Like, that's been most of these past 4 years, is like trusting the path, even though it's so uncertain. And we're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes along the way. And you're supposed to. That's how you learn. But I think the more that you can follow it and not have an agenda and not be tied to an outcome, the more you can enjoy it and follow it and like find the beauty and the joy and the lessons.
Because I think that's another, like, a lot of, and I'm guilty of this. I've done this before. I'm human. I still do it sometimes. It's like we attach to those outcomes, you know, and and that's another thing that can bring forward blocks, is when we attach to an outcome, automatically we're like, okay, this is the outcome. Now I'm going to plan my way to get there. And you could never plan the way to get there. It never unfolds
what's the
how
saying,
you think
like,
it's going to.
What's the saying? Like, you can make a plan and like your spirit laughs or something.
Yeah, I don't know the saying, but yes,
but it's
you
like
could try to make a plan.
Like the human, like we think we can plan, we love to control, but it's like they have trust your guides. They have a much greater plan than you can ever imagine. And when you can surrender, you'll see the magic. It's like you couldn't have even comprehended or thought to plan what your life was going to look like. Like you are so held, and when you can surrender into that, it's easier,
and it makes it so much. It's easier, and it makes it a lot more fun too. It's like, instead of like attaching to that outcome and trying to plan your way through, because that's essentially wasting your energy, because it's not going to happen in the way you try to make it happen. So in the interim, if you get that vision of something that's in the future, instead of being like, okay, I need to make this happen now, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know how it's going to come about. I trust
it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to come about, but when it does, I know that I'm going to be... You know what I'm saying? Like, just instead, it's like, hell yeah, it's like, get excited about it, but don't try to make it happen, because it's not going to manifest as it rarely ever manifests the way that you think, but as fast as you think. Like, they'll drop something in your head. Then they've dropped a few things in my head that have not manifested, and I'm completely let it go, because I'm like, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe it'll manifest sooner than I think, but I'm like, this is something that I feel like will manifest like when I'm in my 50s, 60s, maybe. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I got 30 more years.
Right. Yeah. And just trust the timing. And something that I want to touch on is like fear, because I think fear is so huge, especially when it's like the overthinking mind of like, even if you feel like you're here for a calling, but just in general, when you're following your heart, when you're following the path of what feels right for you, there's so much fear that can come in, because the fear of the unknown, and we don't get to know how things work out, but that's where your trust, surrender, and flow of like, everything's happening for my greatest and highest good. But you do have to validate the fear, because the fear is natural, it's human, it's normal, it's trying to protect you, but you will never get anywhere when you're stuck in the fear-based mind, the overthinking mind. It's like, we've got to drop. The journey too is learning how to drop from the mind to the heart, getting back in your body, feeling, because I think the mental health crisis, what so many of us are stuck in, is the mind, the overthinking mind, our pain, the fear, the worry, the doubt, all of it. And it's like, you have to acknowledge it, love it, validate it, feel it, and then nurture yourself back of like, I know this is really scary, but we're going to trust, we're going to surrender. We know that everything else has worked out in our favor before this. We learned so many lessons, even when it didn't. Like, I'm going to continue to trust, even though it's really scary. And like talking yourself out of going through the fear, you know, because I think it's about facing your fear, facing the fear, and the mind.
Yeah. And you don't want fear to run the show. Like, if you're acting based on fear, that's ego based. And another thing, it's like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do, but I don't have the money. Where's the money going to come in? Okay, how can I make money? How can I, you know, and it's stemming from the wrong place. It's like, and also I feel called to say, if you're in like a job that you don't like, and you know you're not meant to stay there, that's actually a beautiful place to be, because That's your soul telling you that there's something more, but you need that phase of uncomfortability to push you to discover what that new thing is. It doesn't mean you're supposed to quit your job tomorrow. Like when I was teaching, there was 2 years, and I've talked about this before, but for those who don't know, there was two years where I would wake up crying before like going to work. That's how bad I didn't want to be there. Mm-hmm. Not that it was 2 years of that, but there was a period of time where I was really like in 2020, it was really tough. But 2 years later from that initial spark of like, I don't feel called to stay here. Mm-hmm. It took 2 years until I was able to get myself out of that and, you know, pursue something new. Mm-hmm. But it was 2 years, and people might think, oh, 2 years is such a long time. And it was 2 years of being uncomfortable, knowing that there was something more out there. Mm-hmm. However, 2 years in the big scheme of things is a dot on the map.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's something too. It's like when you're in it though, it feels never ending. Yeah. And like so even in this space, this in between for both of us too, it feels like it's never ending. But then I've learned to surrender and like enjoy it and be in the beauty of it. But it's like when you're in it, it can feel like it's never going to end.
But that's why seeking out joy, right, and enjoying your life while you embrace the uncertainty and the unknown is so key. Because if you don't intentionally seek that joy while you're in this uncomfortable period, you're making it harder for yourself.
Yeah. And something I want to say is like, no one knows what they're doing. No one actually knows any more than anyone else. Everyone's trying to figure it out. You know, some people may act like they have it all together and they can see the vision of their future, but like something that I really want to encourage you, if you're listening, like be open to your future changing and being different than what you envision right now. Even if you have the job, you have the family, you have the kids, you know, it's like, be open to that shifting and changing. I think that's the beauty of this life is like it can shift and change in an instant in any given moment. And I think some people like we can really get caught up in the vision that we think our life is supposed to be, but
and grasp at it too tight.
But like no one knows. You never know. Tomorrow's not even promised.
No, literally, like mine, my life has drastically shifted than what I thought.
Me too. I could have never pictured I would be where I am. Yeah.
And on this path of discovering my passion, it's also shifted more, because I remember when I first started awakening to my passion and discovering that I'm a medium, I was like, oh my God, I'm meant to be a medium. I see myself, and I thought that was the thing that I was going to do. Like, this is my calling, mediumship. That was a literal stepping stone. That's it. It was a stepping stone.
It was a tool. It was something to gain, you know?
And I needed to feel really inspired, and I was meant to feel really inspired and excited about it because it was a necessary stepping stone. I was meant to step on that stone, but it wasn't the stone. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just so important that it's supposed to shift and change. And like, don't, just because you have your mind set on one thing, be okay. Like, oh my gosh, I just think there's such a big emphasis on surrender. Surrender, trust the flow of your life. We try to grip so tight because that's our ego. We love to know, but we've got to surrender to the unfolding of our lives without the rigidity. And that's the beauty in it. We're not supposed to know. It's going to be so magical when you let go of all expectations.
Oh, it's tough to do.
It's so tough.
And it's something that we're both so working on. Like, I'll like voice note Holly and I'll be like, oh my God, I was, and I just like vent sometimes. I like need to vent.
Yeah, I've been in panic as well. Well, I think too, something big too, like on this path, what I'm realizing, we need to shift a lot around money because we have placed so much value on money. We need money to live. Obviously, we live in a society. Things are so expensive now. It's crazy, but we've placed so much emphasis and place so much of our worth based off of how much money we make. And I know for me, I've had to be really uncomfortable with that. And I know you have too.
Yeah.
But we've always been provided for.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but like our just like personal, we don't need to dive in. I know we've talked about it a little bit, but just for people to know, like, did you want to finish what you were saying though?
Yeah. Well, I think we kind of touched on it in the Heart-Led episode. Like, I know for me, I started like when I went full time in my business alone, like in 2022, I was making money. Like I was getting collaborations, all of that kind of stuff. And it was like, oh, I can make this my career. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. little did I, like, it was enough for me to continue down this path, to trust myself, to make, it's like my guide showing me this is a possibility. You can own your own business. You can be an entrepreneur, continue to follow this, giving me the breadcrumbs. And then I've started to shift, and literally all but two of my food collaborations have fell to the wayside, where I was making a majority of my income, because a lot, like UGC content, all like making recipe content for a bunch of these different brands, like that's where I was making a big chunk of my money. And I know that was my guides taking that away, because it's like, are you still going to trust this path? Like, we're taking anything that's not in alignment with you anymore out, and you need to learn how to still trust, even if the money, even if you weren't what you're making like originally, like trust that it's going to come in a different way. You just need to continue to follow the breadcrumbs, because I think that's the thing I always ask to help me stay in alignment. And when they take things out, that aren't in alignment, but it's uncomfortable when it's like your finances.
Yeah. And I know I've talked about this before, but for those who haven't heard this yet, so like, yes, and it's tough, and it's going to look different for everybody. For me, there was one point in my life where I was literally working 3 jobs: high school teacher full-time, serving, plus coaching gymnastics on the weekend. I was always of the mentality, money doesn't grow on trees. I had to work really, really hard. And then teaching, I was like, okay, I know I'm not meant to be here. And in the background, I was posting dowsing rod videos, my tarot readings, and eventually I built enough of a following to quit my job, and I jumped into doing readings full time. And like you, I was really doing really well. I was getting enough clients, X, Y, and Z. I was doing these readings, and I thought, oh, I took the risk. I quit my job.
Right.
This is going to be the thing. Da, 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 da. Then I really, tying it back to the healing, right? Because we have to help ourselves first.
Right.
Spirit on my journey, I was listening, I was following, I was meant to do readings, which I was. On my healing journey, I was in the fucking trenches. This is in 2023. Spirit said, you stop doing readings. They said, you need to stop doing readings. And I was like, how? Like, I'm not working at all. I listened. I stopped doing readings, and I was still traveling. I was still Airbnb hopping. So I was not making money, but I was spending a lot of money. I went into I went into debt. And I needed to do that, though, because at that point of my journey, I needed to focus on myself. Like, that's what was most important, was putting that energy into me. And the money was uncomfortable. Like, I was like at least 15 grand into debt on my credit card, my line of credit or whatever. And, eventually coming out of it, like I stopped doing readings for a chunk of time. I started, doing readings again, making some more money again. And then a chunk of time later, a chunk of money came in that canceled that debt out for me. But I didn't know that that's what was going to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was very, very uncomfortable. And like, even now, like, if I'm being honest, I owe my parents money. Like, I owe my parents money. Like, I feel like people assume, Brittany, you have it all figured out. You have almost 600,000 followers on TikTok. Da, 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 da. Like, people just assume that like I do really well because I travel a lot as well. I don't do bad or anything like that, but like I'm answering the call. When I often go and travel, it's not because I'm going on vacation. It's a soul mission, or however you want to label it.
Something for you to learn in those different spaces.
Yeah, it's like I'm being called, so I trust. I spend the money on it. But now it's kind of like I'm not, like, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? But it's like I currently owe, like, my parents helped me out. Like, I owe them some money right now, and it's kind of like, that's okay. Like, I'm still on this path of serving. I'm on this.
Can I point something out too? Because I know a couple people that are facing something similar, like when you're really listening, I think a part of that is like also trying to heal an aspect of like, it's safe for me to receive help. Like, because there's lessons and learnings within the financial struggle as well. Like, it's safe for me to lean on people, lean on community, get support. It's safe for me to receive. There's like even little things that are fishing their way in there,
and it's
and like for me
it's uncomfortable. And like for me, because like the money thing in and of itself is uncomfortable. Like, even right now, like I just got back from Peru, and I moved, which the move was very unexpected, so it cost money. Like, I owe my parents money, and I'm in the red a little bit right now because of the cost of everything, which I know it's going to come back. So I'm really not stressing about it, which is huge for me, because old Brittany would be panicking and stressing about it. But it's knowing that my sense of security comes from within. I know it's going to come back. But my parents, I owe them some money right now. That is very healing because growing up, when I lived with them, they kind of held money over my head. It's like it was my roof, my rules, if that makes sense. And if I, they paid for my majority of my university, for example, which, I didn't even, anyways, that's a whole other thing. I went to university, not because I truly wanted to, but whatever. But it was kind of like my parents held that over my head. It's like, well, we do this for you, so you have to go to church every Sunday. If I didn't go to church every Sunday, they would charge me $100 every time. Love you, Mom, if you're listening. But they did the best with the tools they had, but they held money over my head. It didn't feel safe for me to receive from my parents in that way, because if I did receive from them, it's like they used it as a means of controlling me, which was very damaging. So now it's kind of like they're helping me out and no strings attached, which is healing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think there's like layers to all of it too. And some people may hear this and are like, oh my gosh, that's so irresponsible. But it's a part of the path. Like it's honestly, it's a part of healing these money wounds too. Because I think collectively we have so many money wounds and place so much of our worth on how much money we make. And it's like, do you still know who you will always be provided for? You've always been provided for. I've always been provided for. I've always had my needs met. But, the rug was pulled under me. Eric, he was looking for another job for a bit of time. So like finances were like, whoa, we have a good savings and all of that. But it's like having to find that safety, security, and stability from within, not placing your self-worth on how much you're making, and also trust and surrender that, and you will always be provided for, even if it's by a neighbor coming over and giving you a meal. You will always be provided for.
Because another thing that's coming to mind just as we're talking about this too, it's like it's been drilled in, right? Like save money to buy a house, to da 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 da, and it's kind of like it's rewiring that script. It's like I know that as long as I'm serving, as long as I'm genuinely in alignment, I'm taking care of myself, I will always be provided for, even if it's not in the ways in which I think I should be provided for.
Right. Something too I want to touch on too is like there's such a big emphasis on being in integrity. Like when you're serving from a place of integrity, because I think so many people think that they're serving and like, oh, why am I not being provided for? Why are things not taking off? Why isn't this happening? Yeah. And I think there could be lessons in there, but I think a lot of the times people think they're coming from a good place, but there's so many leaders out there that are not in integrity with the work. And there's such a big emphasis on needing to be in integrity with the work that you're doing. And when you are, and even if you're not, like, you'll still be taken care of, because if you're devoted to learning.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that that's a huge piece, is like making sure you're in integrity with the work that you're doing, which comes from taking care of yourself first, which comes from doing your inner work first before you try to even like serve others and make a business out of it.
Yeah, because that's the thing is money wounds. A lot of people are not in integrity subconsciously. Their intentions are good.
Yeah.
Good intentions are not enough. And this is the money wound thing, right? I think a lot of people on this path will struggle with money at some point, because it's a part of rewiring, releasing those money wounds, finding your sense of security from within you, so that you're not doing this for the money.
Right.
Because if you're still wounded and the abundance does come in, that's why people say money is the root of all evil. I don't believe that. With that said, there's so many money wounds out there. People base their worth on money. So if you haven't actually taken the time to displace your worth on, like displace that, do you know what I'm saying? Like not base your worth on the money, which is going to take time. It's going to take lived experience to integrate. It's one thing to know, and it's another thing to integrate that knowledge. So it's kind of like, I feel like people on this path will struggle in some sort of way to help release the money that,
because this is generational. It's generational. We're interrupting this episode to share something close to our hearts, our virtual healing circles. We have been loving them so much and meeting so many of you incredible people through them. Brittany and I are passionate about bringing people together to support one another and heal in community. We felt alone on our paths for so long, and coming together in community has been instrumental to our growth, and we've both seen the importance in it. We aren't meant to do this alone. In unity and vulnerability, we find strength, courage, and support each other on our paths back to ourselves. Our monthly virtual seminars blend discussions, workshops, and practices to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Whether seeking guidance, healing, or a listening ear, our gatherings offer a safe, inclusive space for people to connect, heal, and grow. Join us on this journey of healing and community. Together, we can heal, grow, and thrive. Register for the next circle using the link in the show notes. We hope to see you there. And something I really want to drop in here, the money wound is really linked to the masculine wound, to the father wound, to the masculine wound of not feeling good enough. If I have enough money, then I'll be good enough. If I have the success, then I'll be good enough. If I have the fame, then I'll be good enough. Because this masculine wound, this father wound of not feeling seen by the father, which is a deep wound because, dad's had to go to work or whatever it may be. It's like, it's such a young wound, but I do believe it's really linked to the father wound. If you have a unhealthy relationship with your dad, it's like that healing of learning how to see yourself, learning how to validate yourself, learning how to know your self-worth from within without the money, not needing all these external things to make you feel good enough. Like you are good enough. You are worthy of love just as you are. Like you are already good. You are already good. You don't need all of these external things. And it's like, I really feel like it's so linked to the masculine wound.
I agree. And I feel like too, what's coming to mind is the value of what you create is not like I'm struggling to articulate this, but it's kind of like, let's say you create something and you're not making a lot of money for it. It doesn't mean like what you're doing is not of deep, deep value just because you're not making the money you think you should be making.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And as we're on that, like you see people out online, I'm just going to use that as an example, that have millions of followers, millions or, getting to millions of followers that are not in integrity. Just because someone has a following, just because someone has engagement doesn't mean that they are in integrity or in the heart space or doing better or they know more than you. Like oftentimes, especially for the podcast, like when I'm looking for guests and stuff, it's like I'm looking for people that I truly like. I look at them, I don't care about the following. Yeah, because the amount of following that you have doesn't equate to the amount of value that a person brings or the amount of value, like wisdom, insight, whatever it is. It's like a lot of people that are not in integrity have really big followings, and it's actually really dangerous.
Not always. You know what I'm saying? Not always. But a lot of people, which is why discernment is so important. I made, we're kind of talking about this. I made a YouTube video just talking about Aubrey Marcus, who you might be familiar, and we're not going to dive into that right here, right now. You might be familiar, but if you're in the spiritual space, he has a huge impact, a huge following.
Like and over 700,000 followers on Instagram.
And YouTube.
I didn't know
he has
who he was,
huge podcast.
But I looked him up.
Yeah, he, hold on, I'll wait for that. So he has so much influence, so much impact. If you're curious, like I would love you guys to watch my YouTube video. Go search for it. I'd love for you to weigh in on it, but I felt impelled. I felt very called to talk about it because I see distortion. He has so much influence, so much following. There's distortion there, and he's perpetuating a lot of harm. This is not from a place of judgment, but but
he thinks that he's living his purpose too, and like spreading this message, and
he has a God complex,
right? So this is what we mean by needing to help yourself first, so you can really step into what you feel called to do in integrity, because he's not in integrity right now. And what he's sharing is so dangerous to his listeners, to other men, to other couples. And it's like, whoa.
Spiritual narcissism.
Yeah. It's just, so we there's such a big emphasis on being in integrity, and how you be in integrity is you first connect with you and your heart space and learn how to genuinely like love and appreciate and accept all aspects of you. So like you're not doing things from a wounded place. And when you are, you can be honest with yourself. And if someone calls you out, you can like, you have the ownership and accountability to like sit with yourself and be like, you're right. Like I made a mistake, and that's okay. Because you want to be doing good.
Yeah.
You know, like I want to be doing good. I want to be called out if I am saying something and it feels off, and I'll always trust myself over, you know, because I've gotten to that place of really discernment for myself and trusting myself. But I am always opening to listening to the people that I love in my life that have my best interest at heart. If they bring something to me, I always will sit with it. And I think that's so important, especially when you're, you know, feeling like you're being called to do something, to making sure you're not doing it from like a wounded space.
Yeah, because our Aubrey Marcus is just is a good example of what we're talking about.
Yeah,
which, you know what, and maybe that's what his soul came here to do, you know. So it's like, and I honor that in a way. It's a huge shadow, just to kind of show us what it can look like if, you know, he has all of this spiritual knowledge, which he does. He's tapped into a lot of spiritual knowledge, but there's lack of integration. Going back to what we were saying at the very beginning, he probably feels called to help people and to do all of these things, but because he hasn't taken the time to do the real work on himself, he's subconsciously, he's not conscious of it, and I believe he has good intentions, which is why I say good intentions are not enough. He's perpetuating more harm. Anyways, I won't get into that. If you're interested, you know, go watch my YouTube video.
There's so many examples of that. Our president Donald Trump as well. So I mean, we've got a lot of examples of people that, you know, they think that they're doing good, but it's causing a lot more harm than good.
You know, it's just it's everywhere. We see it everywhere.
There's a light and dark with it. And I just think, it's important to acknowledge too, none of us are perfect. You know, like none of us are perfect, and we're just here doing the best. We're all here doing the best that we can. But if you are feeling a calling and you feel like you're here for a bigger purpose, like trust that you are. And the more that you focus on you and follow the path, follow the uncertainty, continue to have that blind faith, continue to pray to God, to source, to the universe, to your angels, to your guides, to help you find the next step forward, and look for the signs, see the people that are coming into your life, look at the conversations, look at what lights you up, add more joy. Like the more it's going to illuminate. And it's like, just enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey.
That's what it's literally about. That's literally what it's about. Otherwise, you know, like you said before, you're gonna miss out on so much, right? And the big purpose as to why you're here is to embrace that joy and to receive that joy and that love and, you know, all of the things. So
and I really do believe the last thing is like balance. Like we're not all meant to be like all in our career. We're not all meant, you know, it's like finding that right balance. You're not here to be a martyr. You're not here to be a savior. Everyone is going to save their own selves. Like you can only do so much for someone. Like they've got to be willing to do their part. You know, you got to meet people where they're at. But I feel like it's all about balance, like bringing the seriousness, the joy, the pain, the laughter, like it's all the duality. We need duality. It's like we're not supposed to be working all the time and in this huge mission. It's like a big piece of our purpose is to enjoy this human experience, connect with one another, bring more joy, more love into the world. And just trust that you'll figure it out in divine timing. Divine timing never misses. Even when it feels like what the heck is happening, it always will all make sense in due time.
With that, we're over an hour. Look at this conversation. I feel like, thank you all for listening. If you made it to the end, let us know if you made it to the end.
Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday. Bye. As we wrap up today's episode, we want to extend our deepest gratitude for joining us on this journey. Your support does not go unnoticed. If you enjoyed this episode and find value in our conversations, please take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback not only helps us grow, but also allows us to reach more people who can benefit from our community of healing and support. Every review, every rating makes a difference. Thank you for being a part of the Multiple Truths podcast family. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Multiple Truths podcast. Keep speaking your truth and spreading your light. We love you, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday.